It's Wednesday the 19th of October and welcome to From the South. The former leader of Brazil's lower house of Congress, Eduardo Cunha, has been arrested by authorities on charges of corruption. Cunha, who was detained in the capital Brasilia, has been caught up in the sprawling kickback probe of state-run oil company Petrobras. He is accused of taking a $5 million bribe related to contracts for 2 drill ships built for the company. And he is also the architect who led the drive to impeach former President Dilma Rousseff. ELN rebels from the Cimarron Resistance Front in northwestern Choco province in Colombia handed over their firearms and munitions on Monday. This comes ahead of negotiations with the government set for October 27th, in a bid to end more than 52 years of war. Despite more than 2 years of on and off closed-door talks with the government, the 2,000-strong ELN has remained active, kidnapping and bombing oil installations. So far during 2016, 252 ELN members have demobilized and 388 have been captured, along with 46 who have been killed in combat. Supporters of Venezuela's government are standing with President Nicolas Maduro after he read the 2017 budget on Sunday. Some $830 million of the budget will be allocated to health, education and social programs. A smaller amount will focus on infrastructure development, urban infrastructure and public works. The government has received strong criticism for circumventing the opposition-dominated National Assembly. A Mexican businessman, Zheng Li Yigon, has been extradited by the United States, accused of working with drug cartels after $205 million in cash was found at his Mexico City home. His extradition came after the US Supreme Court declined to hear his final appeal. He was arrested in the US in July 2007 and faces charges of organized crime, drug trafficking, firearms and money laundering. Yigon was the former owner of the defunct Mexican pharmaceutical wholesaler Unimed Pharm Chem, which imported chemicals that US and Mexican prosecutors alleged were used to manufacture the illegal drug methamphetamine. Uruguayan President Tabaré Vázquez met with Chinese Premier Li Keqiang in China to start free trade negotiations. Li said that Uruguay is a good friend and partner of China, and that China would improve the bilateral relations with a special focus on trade, investment, infrastructure and energy. Vázquez said that Uruguay welcomes Chinese investment in all fields and expects free trade negotiations to begin soon. Russian military said that they would extend humanitarian pause in Syria's Aleppo by 3 hours to 7 p.m. local time on October 20th. The announcement was made by Russian army official Sergei Rudskoy during a military briefing. Russia said it stopped airstrikes in Aleppo on Tuesday. US-backed government and Kurdish forces are steadily recovering outlying territory before the big push into the city of Mosul in Iraq. The offensive is expected to be the biggest battle in Iraq since the 2003 US-led invasion. Civilians have been fleeing the conflict, whilst hundreds of thousands of civilians were still trapped within the city with dwindling supplies. Several protesters were injured outside the US Embassy in Manila, Philippines, during a large demonstration against the continued US military presence in the country. National police called for an investigation into the breakup of protesters when a police truck plowed through the crowds, injuring 50 people. Protesters marched through the town of Amiens in France to condemn prison sentences given to 8 former Goodyear workers accused of detaining 2 company executives. If convicted, they might face a sentence of 9 months in prison from November. Hundreds of residents of Lesbos, Greece, marched with refugees on Tuesday to protest against the European borders policy. They are protesting specifically against the EU-Turkey deal that returns refugees back to Turkey. Roughly 500 people have been sent back so far, and over 6,000 are left awaiting their fate. International judges found former Congolese Vice President Jean-Pierre Bemba and 4 close aides guilty of bribing and corrupting witnesses in a bid to derail his landmark war crimes trial. Prosecutors charged that from his prison cell, Bemba masterminded a network to bribe and manipulate at least 14 defense witnesses to lie during his trial at the ICC. Over half of South Sudan's population faces hunger at levels described as crisis or emergency, according to the United Nations. Doctors Without Borders runs a clinic in Awil, which treats an average of 60 new cases of malnutrition each week, the figure which reached 90 a week last August. Competitors shed blood, sweat and tears as they took on the infamous Jungle Marathon, a 254-kilometer battle through the Brazilian rainforest for the 12th year. Athletes from all over the world took on the race across 6 separate and equally challenging stages. The race has become an annual rite of passage for endurance running enthusiasts.